Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. This is the problem with justice. This is the problem with principles and values. They run across the board. That is, must be applied to each and every person equally. Now, there was an attack on Kiev, actually the third one in the last 24 hours. And it was very much blamed and, I don't know, labeled as a terrorist attack, being an attack on civilians, on buildings in residential areas in Kiev. Well. We all condone that, okay? We don't support that. The problem is we have an attack on Moscow now by many drones, and they hit residential buildings in Moscow. Will those people blame it and condone those attacks and call them terrorist attacks? Crickets, nothing. All right, I have about four articles here that will tell us about the reaction or no reaction and the reporting on this attack on Moscow. This is an unprecedented attack on Moscow with about 30 drones or so, 20-some drones launched by the Ukrainians, and they were shut down. The Russians say all of them. Then they said no, they were not shut down. They hit apartment buildings. So I don't think they were shut down, even though, you know, how the Ukrainians claim every time they failed to hit a missile or a drone, the debris fell on the debris. So yeah, the same here then. We apply the same rule? No. So let's see. Start with this one. This says that major drone strike hits residential area of Moscow in apparent first. Now this is New York City. So anyway, so strike hits residential area. This is from May 30th, 2023. Several drones struck Moscow early on Tuesday, damaging residential buildings in the Russian capital, the mayor said. The pre-dawn attack caused minor damage in several buildings in a residential area, according to the mayor. Some residents were evacuated. All municipal emergency services are currently at the scene. So no one was seriously injured. And let's see, it says Russian emergency service told state news agencies that drone-like fragments were found around at least one of the buildings. At the apartment windows were shattered and on several floors. 8 drones targeted Moscow, 5 of which were shot down, while the other 3 were jammed, causing them to veer off course, according to the Russian Ministry of Defense. Now it's 8, but there's going to be more, so bear with me. The rare attack came as Russia continues to wage war in neighboring Ukraine. Now, the Russian Defense Ministry called Tuesday's drone strike a terrorist attack by the Kiev regime. Well, if we are to use the same justice, then how do you call the attacks on civilian infrastructure in Kiev? Mr. Minister of Defense Shoigu, I'm guessing. So this is a picture of whatever that is. An attack. It says a view shows a damaged multi-story apartment block following a reported drone attack in Moscow, Russia, May 30th, 2023. So let's go forward actually to this one right here. Ukraine attacked Moscow with 8 UAVs, all drones downed, Russian Defense Ministry. So this is again according to the Russians. This morning, the Kiev regime launched a terrorist attack with unmanned aerial vehicles on facilities in the city of Moscow. 8 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles were involved in the attack. All enemy drones were hit, the ministry said in a statement. All right, the Pantsir destroyed them. Good for them. So this is another beautiful article. We're going to go to the main one right here from Ukrainska Pravda. Again, May 30th, 2023. 25 to 32 drones attack Moscow. 2 buildings damaged, people evacuated. So it's 25 to 32 drones. According to various reports, 25 to 32 drones attacked Moscow on the night of 29th or 30th of May, damaging at least two multi-story residential buildings. Are you saying anything about that? No. And most of the drones were reportedly shot down near the Russian capital. So they even say the damage, but they say it was not us. It was, I don't know, the Chinese or something. So investigators from the investigative committee are looking into the crash of unmanned aerial vehicles into the buildings in Moscow. A number of buildings in Moscow have been damaged by UAVs that crashed into them. In addition, a number of unmanned aerial vehicles were shot down by Russian air defense forces on the approach to Moscow. You can see them boom, boom in the air. But this is during the day, during the morning. The way the sun is here, you see how the shadows are longer. You can see it's a morning. Look at the building shadow right here. So let's see if we can see this little thing. I didn't try it, but maybe I should not leave that because I don't think they're using I think they're just men using manly talk. All right, so that's one. Let's see what happened with that one. Oh, I didn't show it. Too late, it's right there. But anyway, that's one video. So it is reported that most of them were allegedly shot down by air defense forces. This is the damage. No, I don't know. That's the little thing over there. It's what, 2 pounds explosive or 3 pounds. I don't even know if that's the amount. Now, Kiev regime behind terrorist attack on Moscow. This is Russia Today, Ministry of Defense. The raid involved 8 drones. These guys still stick to 8 drones. These guys are up it to 25 to 32 drones. So doesn't really matter the number. If you have 50 rapes or have 49, is still, you know, a lot of them, because 51, I'm trying to minimize it, but you understand the number really doesn't matter when you have a crime already committed, especially 8 versus what, 25 or 20. The raid involved 8 drones, all of which were neutralized. Russia's Ministry of Defense says, okay, so they neutralized all of them and there's a terrorist attack. And I'm quoting these guys here. The Kiev regime launched a terrorist attack with unmanned aerial vehicles on targets in the city of Moscow, a statement from the ministry said. Okay, well, I'm glad you recognize it as it is, but I mean, I don't think that doesn't happen in Kiev. It didn't happen in the past 24 hours, which, to be honest, there were 3 attacks, drones and missiles, and some of them were shot down, some of them hit residential buildings. So if this is a terrorist attack, what's the other one? A terrorist attack as well. So it doesn't mean 2 wrongs make a right, but, you know, let's call it as it is. I didn't hear the Ukrainska Pravda saying anything about being a terrorist attack or anything like that, but they're very quick to notice when it happens to them, like the Russians are very quick to notice when it happens to them. So that tells us the main rule in a war. The first victim of war is truth. So Moscow is under attack. I said this many times. They will succeed doing it, the Ukrainians, and they will attack probably residential buildings and residential area. The West will zip it. That tells us how fair and just we are. You know, we'll see. I mean, these are just small drones, but still the ability of the Ukrainians to hit the capital gives a very important signal to everyone. Now, I understand those are small drones, and if they fly low altitude is not really a way to destroy them, even though those seem to be at very low altitude, the ones that they featured in that little video, but I think that crashed down, so maybe that was jammed. Nevertheless, that shows that Ukrainians can do it, will do it. The Russians claim that those drones were not Ukrainian made, they were, I think, American made, therefore they say, the Russians say, that they're part of this terrorist attack. That means they're part of the conflict and the same thing. Are you going to do anything about it? No. They do this so they can counterbalance what the other guys are saying. Oh, look, this terrorist attack, look, they killed civilians. Not good. But on the other hand, when these guys are saying, hey, look at those guys, they killed civilians, zip it. I can't, be like that and say, you know what, when it's happening to us, it's a crime. When we do it to you, the same thing, it's not a crime. A rape is a rape, regardless if my uncle does it or his uncle. It's still a rape, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth and be just. And things like this will happen more. And more deadly. They're going to send missiles over there. They are going to get now the 500 kilometer long shot or long range missiles, the Ukrainians, and they will be capable of hitting Moscow with missiles, not with drones, like you attach it to a dove and the dove flies with it and then goes into Moscow. Not like that. They will send missiles. And we'll see what the Russian response will be. They say they will escalate it. How are you going to escalate it? The number, the intensity, both? I guess we'll find out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.